Hey, how's it going? This is that stomachless dude. Today, I wanted to make a video talking about the symptoms I had prior to my diagnosis of esophageal slash stomach cancer. So, I was diagnosed November 28th of 2022, almost a year ago from today. I started My wife says I started, now that we know what the symptoms were, my wife says that I started getting symptoms probably about a year prior to. Symptoms early on that she said that I was getting would have been both the indigestion, heartburn. To me, it wasn't anything excessive. And I'll say this a couple times through these videos, my fighting weight, 210-ish to 220 is, I'm in pretty good shape at that point of that weight. I was probably 240 a year prior to being diagnosed. I was a little bit out of shape. I hadn't been working out. I've been riding dirt bikes, but not that much. And so I associated that indigestion, that heartburn, with just being a couple pounds overweight. So February of 2022 is when I first started noticing symptoms that we now know were symptoms, and it started off really, really small. Once a day, eating something and food kind of feeling like it got stuck. Drink some water, like it did my entire life. Drink some water, flush it down, boom, 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 keep eating. I always have eaten really fast. I don't chew my food well. I chew a lot better now, but I didn't back then. So again, I could always associate this symptom with this, cause and effect for sure. So as it was progressing throughout the summer, it was getting progressively worse as well. So from what was once a day became once a meal, and then from once a meal it became three times a meal, to the point where probably June, July-ish time frame. I was at this time I'd lost weight. I was down to probably 220-ish, 225. I was working out at the gym. I was training for motocross, so I was riding at least three times a week. Like I said, the other time I was in the gym three times a week. So the weight that I was losing, again, I could associate with I was eating better, working out, so forth and so on. So now I'm trying to eat, I'd pack sandwiches at the track, and I would eat a sandwich, and one sandwich, just meat, cheese, bread sandwich, real simple. I'm a dude. When I made my own lunch, would take me a bottle of water, 20 ounces, to get down. Every single bite, it was getting to the point where every bite was taking water, taking water. So at this point, I'd been talking to people, I'd been doing some research, and everyone knew someone who, oh, that happened to my father or my grandfather, and it ended up being something minor. So, obviously, you want to be an optimist in this type of situation. So I'm like, that's what I have. It's going to be a simple fix. So there was no big rush to go out and get it fixed. Yeah, it was an inconvenience having to drink so much water every time I was eating, but it was better than finding out the truth. And as a guy, we do that a lot. Don't do that. So ended up finally going. I'm a disabled veteran, so I called the VA, set an appointment. The way the VA works is, even if outside of cutting off your hand and saying, "Hey, I'm missing a hand," they're going to tell you, "Hey, go to your normal doctor," and then from there they'll direct you the ways you had to go. So I go to my normal doctor, and I tell them what's going on. And the first thing they say is, "This is a GI issue. Let me schedule you with a GI doctor." So waited 4 weeks for that initial appointment. Now I had to wait another 6 weeks. So now we're probably early October time frame, and like mentioned, it's getting really bad. Even swallowing, let me close that down. Even swallowing, um, there you go. Sorry about that. That ping was driving me crazy. Even swallowing yogurt and cottage cheese and stuff like that was starting to become a hassle. So go in. I decided that let's go to the ER. So it was about 3 weeks prior to that appointment with the VA GI doctor that we decided to go to a private hospital ER. So we go in there. The doctor, we tell him everything that really told y'all, and he tells us, well, we can do a CT scan. We're not going to find anything on the CT scan, but if it makes you feel better, we'll do a CT scan. So we said, let's do a CT scan. And so we go back, do the CT scan. 10 minutes later, doctor comes in and goes, "You need to go get seen." And so, they can't tell you it's cancer. I don't even remember what he told us. I don't even know if he told us that there's something blocking there, or if it was just, we see something, you need to go get seen. So at that point, I called the VA. Hey, just went to this private hospital. They're seeing something. We need to be seen. And the VA being the VA, and this is not a beat up VA video, but they have a lot of patience. So I get it. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt on that one. But there's nothing they could do. They could get me in sooner. So I had to wait another 3 weeks. And I finally got seen. I can't remember, like I said, I know my diagnosis was November the 28th. So probably 2 weeks prior to that, maybe around November 14th, I finally go and I get seen. And I don't even remember what test they did first, to be honest. But they saw something to where at that point it was scopes. I'm going, surgeries, the feed tube, rush, and luckily at this point they really did rush me in and get me started really, really fast with chemo and radiation. So they, I don't know. Obviously, they diagnosed me with cancer before the chemo and radiation, but it happened at that point. It was still. It feels like it's fast now, but I still believe it took like 30 days from diagnosis to starting all of that. And my daughter had cancer, so we were expecting a lot faster. But this video is just about my symptoms, so we won't go into that. I'll kind of end this video saying if you're feeling something different in your body, don't blame it on age. Don't blame it on anything else except for going to get seen. That was my issue. Was I kept blaming it on different things. Um, Another thing I wanted to mention too, another kind of symptom I had was at the very end of my motocrossing. At the time, I could do 20-minute motos, and yeah, I'd be exhausted and tired, but I could get through it, rest a little bit. We can go out and do another one. Me and Wyatt, we did a 5 lap moto. It was a 5 lap kind of chase. Someone starts behind you, you got to catch up to the person. Anyways, a lap time I want to say was a minute and a half, maybe 2 minutes max. So we're talking 10 minutes max. And I had to pull off the track and I was puking from like exhaustion. So my cancer already kind of entered the body. It was definitely entered the body, but was just wearing me down. So another symptom was just the fatigue. Again, I associated everything with something else besides cancer. The weight loss was working out, and it could have been. Looking back, a lot of my doctors said, well, some of the weight loss could have been from the cancer as well. But just like I was saying, go get checked. If you feel something's wrong, you feel something's off, believe it. It's a lot better to come back and be like, I was a dumbass for thinking this when it was only this versus the flip side. If I would have gone in January, I potentially could have still had my stomach. I could have potentially been living life almost normal. I'm pretty normal now outside of, the amount of volume I can eat because I don't have a stomach. But a lot could have changed. A lot could have been better. The chance of reoccurrence would have been down. The chance of it spreading to all the lymph nodes like it did would have been down. So go get checked. Go get checked. If something's not right, go get checked. But again, I appreciate y'all. Like, subscribe. Early on, these videos until I kind of get the hang of it are going to be kind of these little more informative, and then the shorts are just kind of little snippets of my life. I hope to have these a lot better, a lot more fun, to show people that go through this all the fun you still can have. Your life's not over. In many regards, it's just starting. I feel like I have a second lease on life, but I do feel there's a lot of positivity that's going to come out of this, and I hope that I'm one of those positive people that someone in my situation 12 months ago can look up to and say, hey, if he did it, I can do it. And I'm okay with that. And I hope you do it better than me. And if not, just reach out and we can get through it together. So thanks so much, guys.